Very much. Much appreciated. Thank you yet again. Today I want to talk about the burden of proof, or the written word. And this came about actually from a landlord that called in a couple of days ago at UPAD, who had tenants in their property for about the last 5 years, and wanted to claim not just what the deposit was, but a bit more than that. And there was 3 key bits that were costing her, and various other bits. The 3 bits that were quite expensive, one was kitchen work surface, the lino in the kitchen, and a new bed. And the problem was that when you come to try and make a claim against the tenant's deposit, which is their money, it's not ours, we have to have what's called the burden of proof to be able to have a claim against it. And she had done an inventory, but she did it herself, and there was no mention of the kitchen work surface or the flooring. There wasn't the bed. And this meant that if there was a dispute, which there was in this situation, she had absolutely no claim whatsoever against 2 of the big ticket items, because they just simply weren't mentioned in the inventory. And as far as the bed is concerned, the fact that the tenants had been there for about 5 years, it fell under what's called wear and tear, that a bed, a normal bed is expected to last about 5 years. So there was various other parts of her dispute, but the vast majority of it was all thrown out because she just simply didn't have the burden of proof. And as landlords, it's really important that we get all our homework in place so that should we want to make a claim against a tenant's deposit, we have the resources to do so. So I'm just going to run through a few other areas where this also applies. I think we all know that we have to have smoke alarms in our property, and they have to be working at the start of the tenancy agreement. A couple of things. It has to be working on the start of the tenancy, the actual day the tenancy starts, not the week before when you go around there to make sure it's okay. But the other big thing is not just about pressing the button and making sure it makes a sound, it's having that burden of proof. So that if, in the very unlikely event, there was a fire, and actually where I live, our next door neighbour's house burnt down about 18 months ago now, because of a candle, and therefore I was quite close to this one. It's about having proof that you had a smoke alarm that was working at the start of the tenancy. There's 2 ways of doing that. Either you have an inventory clerk that comes out to do the inventory, and that third party also checks the smoke alarm. So you've got that piece of paper you can waive in very unlikely events, but like my neighbour. Or you can have a piece of paper that your tenants sign that confirm it was working at the start of the tenancy agreement. But just having a smoke alarm is not sufficient. And all of this is to protect ourselves going forward. Just to test it doesn't work if it went to court. You need to have what's called the burden of proof. This leads into tenant documentation. So if a tenant ever phones you, for example, to say the tap is leaking and the boiler stopped working, it's really important to make sure you get everything written down, whether it's over email or physically written down, so that there is a log should there ever be a dispute further down the line. It's all about the burden of proof. We all know, I think, hopefully, that at the start of the tenancy agreement, we need to give our tenants various things. Obviously, the tenancy agreement, the prescribed information from deposit, the government booklet that anybody ever reads, EPC, gas cert, etc. But just giving it to them all in a file, sort of a bit like the folder you get in a hotel room, doesn't do it, doesn't wash. You need to be able to prove that you've given the tenant that documentation. So if you've emailed it, you want to ask them to confirm that they've received it, or if you've done the physical hard copy, get another copy of everything, get them to sign the fact that they've received all of them all, so you have that burden of proof in the unlikely event that you actually need it. Documentation is absolutely everything, and the amount of times at UPAD we get landlords calling us up, whether it's to do with deposits and wanting to make claims, I started off my talk, or through providing the right documentation at the start of the tenancy or smoke alarms. It's about having it written down, because it just won't work for us if we just say, yes, I tested it. We need to make sure we have everything written down right from the very start. And with more reasons, when you go through the eviction process, there's almost more reasons for it to fall over in terms of providing the right documentation at the right time. It's so important that you have everything written down and there's a physical log, otherwise you won't be able to do so many different things. There's loads of other areas I could cover off, but I think those are the key ones I just want to focus on this evening. There's more information in the guide that you can download from the link at the top, and it gives you £40 off anything at UPAD. Thank you very much. I hope you found it useful. I want to run a landlord club. And I forgot I had a landlord club. We started a landlord club. The key reasons being is we've got so many landlords calling us wanting advice. And there's loads of stuff in it that's really useful, but the two key bits for me is we have a free legal helpline and a free tax helpline, because we've got so many people calling us up thinking we're lawyers and accountants. So we set this up so it goes through to proper accountants and proper lawyers that understand the space, whether it's to do with evictions or whether you should incorporate. So something to consider about making sure you've got the right resources around you should anything go wrong. Now I'm done. Thank you.